Last Woman on Earth. Welcome back to Movie Recap. Today, I'll share with you a science fiction mystery drama, Last Woman on Earth, from 1960. It is often referred to as The Last Woman on Earth, but it appeared without the word "the" in the film's title card. Produced and directed by Roger Corman, Last Woman on Earth tells the story of 3 survivors of a mysterious apocalypse, which appears to have wiped out all human life on Earth. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Harold Gern, a successful businessman from New York, is spending a holiday in Puerto Rico with his attractive wife, Evelyn. They are watching roosters fight. Evelyn isn't interested. They are joined by Martin, Harold's lawyer, who has come to discuss the latest indictment. Martin tells him to be a little worried about the matters as he is constantly in legal trouble. Harold casually says he hired lawyers to worry for him and goes to place a bet. Evelyn and Martin introduce each other. Harold returns and reintroduces Evelyn to Martin, saying he married her between trials. Harold wins the bet. Evelyn spills wine on her dress, so she goes to change. Harold takes Martin to a casino to talk about the legal matters. Martin doesn't approve of Harold's carelessness towards the matter. Harold tells him to get his briefs from his room and leave him alone to win his money back. Martin goes to their room where Evelyn is changed and drinking wine. Martin refers to her as Mrs. Gern and asks for Harold's briefs. Evelyn goes to the balcony and climbs up the grill and starts walking on it. Martin tells her that she might fall, and she stumbles and falls in Martin's arms. She apologizes for her behavior to Martin and tells him that she doesn't usually meet like this with strangers. She is depressed as Harold doesn't pay much attention towards her. When Martin is leaving, she asks him to call her Evelyn instead of Mrs. Gern. Harold invites Martin along on a boat trip. On the boat, they discuss legal matters and Evelyn asks Harold to go swimming. Harold asks Martin to come along. All 3 of them try out some newly bought scuba diving equipment. Evelyn gets scared by a stingray and accidentally hits Martin. When they resurface, they are unable to breathe without using their scuba tanks. They climb back into their boat and find Manuel, the crewman, dead. Martin suggests he died of asphyxiation. There is something in the air that makes them dizzy. Martin asks Harold to get the spare oxygen tanks and goes himself to find the radio. There is no communication on the radio. They try to start the boat, but it doesn't work. So they row to the shore. Harold suggests they go to the forest to see what's going on. They have to take off their equipment as the tanks are empty by now. Harold asks Evelyn to take off her mask and kisses her. He lights up a cigarette and Martin says that since the match was lit, the air has oxygen again. He suggests that the green plants of the forest are making oxygen available. They become happy and Martin stumbles and falls on Evelyn. They have a moment, and Harold suggests they should go to town and see how bad the situation is. They go to the town, and Martin says that they should take it slow, otherwise there is a chance they will pass out again. They see dead bodies of people all over the town. A car crashes into the sidewalk because the driver is dead. They take the vehicle and go to their hotel. Evelyn is depressed and goes to drink. Harold and Martin discuss the situation at the bar. It dawns upon them that they might be the only survivors in the area, maybe in the world, since they cannot contact anyone by radio. They plan to go to a house of Harold's business partner, which is located on an island. They pack as much stuff as they can and leave. They reach the house and Harold breaks in. The domineering Harold takes charge. He tells Martin to sleep in the bedroom upstairs. The next morning, Harold wakes up early. He tests the telephone device and wakes Martin. Martin isn't amused by Harold taking charge. He comes downstairs. They are discussing what to do next when Evelyn comes in her nightgown drinking. Harold asks her to get dressed, but she makes sarcastic comments, "What's the occasion?" When Harold tells her that Martin is there, she casually says he is going to be around for a long time, so she doesn't need to be well dressed all the time. Harold kisses her forehead to calm her down and asks her for breakfast. She goes to change. Harold finds an ant and calls Martin and Evelyn. He shows them the ant has survived, or maybe hatched. Harold feels that in the long run, they will have to move north to a colder climate to avoid problems with insects and food preservation, and to increase their chances of meeting other survivors. They concentrate on becoming self-sufficient, and the two men fish as marine creatures have survived. Martin and Evelyn become more and more acquainted. They also find baby chicks, presumably newly hatched. Harold sees them laughing and playing. At the dinner table, Harold asks Evelyn to leave. Harold tells Martin to cooperate with him without resentments. Martin tells Harold that he doesn't feel the need to work for him anymore. Harold brings up the issue of one woman and two men, and says that he is the husband. Martin has to live without a partner. Martin claims that the world has changed and there is no law to prove she is his wife. Harold goes to the bedroom and tries to make out with Evelyn, who resists. She says she never felt love from Harold before and feels like he is only claiming her ownership in this new world. Harold emphasizes the fact that they are married and kisses her. The next day, Harold goes fishing, leaving Evelyn and Martin at the villa. After Harold leaves, Martin asks Evelyn to join him at the beach. She gladly agrees and goes with him. At the beach, they drink beers and Martin tells her limericks. She laughs and wishes Harold was like that. Martin asks her questions and she draws question marks on the sand, saying since he was a lawyer, all he does is ask questions. Then she hops on them and erases them. She throws sand on Martin, which goes in his eyes. When she tries to help him, they kiss. And to continue making out, they go to the villa. Harold comes back from fishing and sees empty beer cans on the beach and suspects something is going on. At the villa, Evelyn and Martin drink wine and Evelyn tells Martin about her typical day. Martin tells her that he'd take her to her favorite French restaurant and she gets emotional. When Martin embraces her to calm her down, Harold arrives. The next day, during fishing, Harold blurts out at Martin saying that he should be thankful the world ended, otherwise he'd never have made it. Martin counter-argues that Harold might think that Martin wanted to be like Harold, but he didn't. He thinks that the way he made money was stinky, as was he. Harold gets angry and hits Martin. They get into a physical fight. Harold tells Martin he knows he slept with Evelyn. Martin confidently confirms it. Harold gives Martin 2 hours to leave. Back at the villa, Harold tells Evelyn about what happened, and how he told Martin to go away because of what he did to Evelyn. Evelyn says he didn't do anything to her. She wasn't raped. Harold shushes her, saying he doesn't want to hear about it. Evelyn tells Harold that he has to always have a system for things and she doesn't want to be a part of that system anymore. She pleads that Martin is a part of us and shouldn't be left alone, but Harold doesn't bother and leaves. She goes to Martin and asks Martin to take her with him. Martin says that Harold doesn't realize what it means to leave someone alone during such time, but he wouldn't do that to him. Evelyn insists, and so Martin asks her to come along. They kiss, and Evelyn hears Harold calling her. So she leaves. Harold comes and tells Martin he'll be waiting downstairs to see him off. Martin goes in the car, and Harold reminds him that the boat is his. When Harold goes back toward the villa, Martin quickly grabs the keys off the truck. Evelyn hops on board, and they leave. Harold yells that he is not going to come after her. In the car, Martin feels his eye sore and is hurting more and more. Harold manages to ignite the truck engine and follows them. Martin and Evelyn's car crashes into a tree. They run through the forest to get to the boat. Martin leaves Evelyn at the church and says that he is going to be back. Before he leaves, Evelyn asks him, wouldn't it be wonderful if they had a child? But Martin disapproves the idea of bringing a child to such a world and leaves. Harold finds Martin at the bay. He asks Martin the whereabouts of Evelyn, but Martin refuses to tell him. They get into a fight, and Martin runs away. Harold keeps following him. Martin climbs up a ruin and makes it back to Evelyn. Harold follows him. Martin goes blind and calls Evelyn out. She holds him. Martin faints and dies. Harold feels guilty of killing him. Out of remorse at what he has done, Harold says, "When will we learn?" He gets up and asks Evelyn to go home with him. She sits beside Martin's body and asks, "Where is home?" He holds out his hand to Evelyn and says, "Help me find it." She holds his hand, and the two go together. The movie ends here. I may not be a fan of the acting in the movie, but the storyline is pretty impressive. The theme of the movie is actually what's going on in the world. Be sure to like the video and subscribe for more.